What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Game Changers. I'm your host and founder, Jalen Tart, and along with me are my guys, Xavier and Joe. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving break. We back off of 2 weeks. It's been a lot of sports, crazy games in the NFL. College basketball has started up again. The women's and the men's. We got a lot to jump into, so let's get right into it. So first things first, the crazy talk about the wide receivers in the NFL. So, you got a lot of wide receiver cores playing for different teams. So I want to know this. Who are your top 5 wide receivers in the NFL right now? I don't care who starts.
All right, well, I guess I'll go ahead and go first. Before I start off, happy Thanksgiving, late Thanksgiving to all y'all. But my top 5, no particular order. D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, and Devontae Adams. That's my top 5. Those 5 guys right there, man, there ain't no joke. They help their teams out. It stresses out defenses, throw them the ball, and make plays. So that's why I picked them as my top 5.
Okay, so once again, like Joe said, happy Thanksgiving, happy late Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope everybody had some good food, great time with family, this, that, and the third, man. But I'm gonna get right into it. My top 5, no particular order. D-Hop, Julio, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. Number 5, I want to say DK, but I can't say DK right now. I'll explain why.
Okay.
My number 5, oh man. I'm gonna put in
hard, bro.
Yeah, that fifth one's hard. I'm gonna throw in. I mean, people gonna look at me stupid, but I think my reason's legit. I'm gonna just say Keenan Allen. I'm gonna keep it at that. But reason can't say DK right now, if you put it in a sense that wide receivers right now that are eligible to play, then you can put them in your top 5. But if you're talking about wide receivers among how many years they played, I can't put them in top 5 right now. I gotta wait till like next year to put him on my top 5 maybe, because this is his only second year in the league. I can't say that he's in the top 5. All those other receivers been in the league for about 3 years, maybe even 5 years plus. But no disrespect to DK, he's a great receiver. He's a hell of a receiver. But I can't say he's my top 5 due to how many years he's been in the league.
Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty good list from both of you guys, but here's my list. I have no particular order. D-Hop, Devontae Adams, Hill, Tyreek Hill, the speech of Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs. That's going to surprise people. Stephon Diggs and DK Metcalf. Now, people want to know, for me, why I don't have Julio Jones. I mean, you're not doing anything. I mean, yes, you're winning games. You had a surprise win against the Las Vegas Raiders, but you're not doing anything. Everyone has figured you out already. Now, the Stephon Diggs trade from the Minnesota Vikings to the Bills, I love that trade because now that gives Josh Allen a target to finally throw to, and it's paying off. Devontae Adams, people have been sleeping on him. People thought that he wasn't going to do any good with Aaron Rodgers because there's a lot of talk of Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay, often them drafting the quarterback from Utah State. I forgot his name on top of my head. But he's doing some good things. When that offense is rolling, it's very hard to stop. D-Hop, I can't say nothing else about D-Hop. The amazing catch. And Tyreek Hill, the display that he put on against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, having 206 receiving yards in the first quarter, that's crazy. DK Metcalf, I think what we're seeing from the Seattle Seahawks, this to me is like a Tom Brady, Randy Moss reincarnation. If you really think about it, because the way that he's catching the ball off of the deep threat, you having 10 receptions for 179 yards in one half. Imagine him doing that in the second half. You having 300 yards and 20 receptions. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But that's my personal list. So we're gonna move on. So the NBA season, they just put out the schedule. The opening day is December the 22nd with the I believe the Nets is playing at the Warriors and the Clippers is playing at the Lakers, the defending champion Lakers. But overall, with the exception of that, what do you expect out of this year's season of the NBA?
On the Western Conference, anything can happen, honestly. I don't, because like everybody's getting. I mean, like I talked to one of my coworkers, and like he had a great point with the NBA. The NBA and the NFL, like the NBA has more say. That's why everybody going on to everywhere else, man. All these trades and so forth. But like with the Western Conference, anything can happen. Like I mean, you got Devin Booker and CP3 in Phoenix. You got the reigning LA Lakers, and they have more weapons to come from. You got Dallas. You got I can even put Sacramento in there because they might be a creeper team. The Eastern Conference, I can't really say the same. I can't really say like anything can happen. I only can say like pretty much more than half of those teams that made the playoffs last year are going to go back.
Okay.
I'm gonna say about like 6 out of 8 are going to make it back to the playoffs.
For the Western Conference or for the East?
The East.
Okay.
Like I said, the West is going to go from like the 6, 7, 8 spot is going to be anybody. Anybody can get it. Anybody's for grabs. So like the NBA is going to be a crazy season. Anybody can get it, especially in the Western Conference. Like it's just going to be all out. That's just me though.
All right, so basically for me, I got the Lakers repeating. It's going to be a harder – I think I have them repeating, but the road getting to the finals is going to be way harder than what it was with the bubble. You got teams that are stacking up players, stacking their teams up to get them ready for the season. For example, the Dallas Mavericks. Many people don't see the Dallas Mavericks as a championship contender team, but I personally see them as a championship contender team with you having a role player of Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. Building around those two pivotal players could get you somewhere. They took it to in the playoffs. We've seen that in the playoffs. Same for Denver. They took it to the Clippers in the playoffs, beating the Clippers in 6 games. You lost Jeremy Grant with the Denver Nuggets, but at the same time, you still got pivotal players revolving around Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Now, many people will sleep on this team. I have the Phoenix Suns making the playoffs. I expect the Phoenix Suns to make the playoffs. If Sacramento can get in there, they can get in there. But I see the Phoenix Suns building the momentum and adding more momentum of having Chris Paul and Devin Booker on a well-oiled team, young team. I seen them making noise. Now in the East, that's a toss-up. LiAngelo Ball, he just joined the Detroit Pistons. So that'll be another question we will ask later in the quick pitch. But I see LaMelo. I see LaMelo doing big things in Charlotte. I don't know if they can make the playoffs, but they can actually make a run forward now that you have who I personally believe is the most improved player in Devontae Graham playing for that squad. The 76ers, that's a question mark team for me. You having these pieces with I believe, what's his name? Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers, and Ben Simmons. I don't know how that chemistry is going to work, and everyone is going to be watching the Brooklyn Nets this year. The Brooklyn Nets. And the Knicks. We don't know what the Knicks is going to do with Obi Toppin. Hopefully he's their saving grace, bring some people to the team. But, hey, it's going to be a fun season to watch. Joe, what you got?
Yeah, it is going to be a fun season. I mean, Kevin Durant coming back for the Nets, him and Kyrie, they're both like top 10 caliber players in this league, and together they're just going to be unstoppable. With like in the East, the Bucks, obviously Giannis still there. Washington, them adding Westbrook, that Westbrook and Bill connection can be pretty scary down the East. Miami, you still have good teams in the East, but like with the West, I mean, this happens year after year. They get tougher and tougher. I mean,
Yeah.
LeBron extending with the Lakers a 2-year, $85 million contract. AD, I think he's still staying with the Lakers. So if the Lakers do on repeat, I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll have to still see because the Rockets just got John Wall too, and John Wall and James Harden can be a scary duo as well. With the Warriors, I believe they can still make the playoffs, but they're not going to go to the finals.
I don't know.
Like this is me, not because I'm a Warriors fan, but this is just me. It's just because Steph Curry can still. He was hurt like last year, so we didn't make a push. But
No.
Curry,
I'm not talking about your Warriors pick. I'm talking about John Wall and James Harden working out. Both of them.
Yeah.
I think with that, it's a good move. I think Washington won in that trade because you're sending a player that is just exactly like Russell Westbrook, but he's a passive Russell Westbrook, if that makes sense. They both want the ball. You have no shooters, but you do end up getting a big man in DeMarcus Cousins. But we'll see if DeMarcus Cousins is like the Sacramento DeMarcus Cousins that we're used to seeing, that we grew up on. Knowing that John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins played basketball at Kentucky together, will that come back? Will we see that again? Bradley Beal, I would be happy to have Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook playing on the same team. Russell Westbrook playing with Scott Brooks in Oklahoma City. He's playing with him now.
But Jalen, let me add on something.
Go ahead.
Like I said, like you said, it is a win for Washington. But with the sense of everything of John Wall and James Harden, if James Harden stays, more than likely he will stay in Houston. I feel like it's like it won't really work like Russell and James Harden would with John Wall and James Harden because their personalities don't match. Like John Wall is aggressive, but I just say just a tad bit less aggressive than Westbrook.
Yeah.
But like I just don't think him, Wall, Harden and Cousins can get along, but I just don't think Harden and Cousins can get along with John Wall. You gotta get what I'm saying.
Right. So we're gonna move on real quick to the quick pitch. So this is the first question I have. Can Florida beat Alabama in the SEC championship game? This is a yes or no question.
No.
Of course not. Not even close.
Why?
Alabama. It'll take a miracle. Now I don't see it.
From watching the Florida this year, they start off very slow in the first half, and they end up getting the machine going in the second half. They cannot do that against this Alabama team. They cannot do that. It was well hyped with the Georgia game. We thought it was going to be very close, and Georgia came out, what was it, 21-0? And then they came back and they beat them 42-28, I think, 45. I don't know if I'm not mistaken. But I got to go with Alabama. They're too talented. On the offensive side, they're too talented. Najee Harris, Mac Jones, the wide receiver core, very talented. And then on top of that, Nick Saban, out of all the people, we don't know if he's going to come back against LSU, the LSU game this week. He plays a pivotal role in the success of Alabama. So the next question.
Hey, but
go ahead. I mean, this is
okay. But like,
go ahead.
Yeah, but Florida, I feel like whoever's lined up at safety or even at an outside backer, they're going to like lock down Kyle Pitts like it's nothing. So like, I feel like that Alabama defense is going to haunt Kyle Trask, and they're going to, and their safety in the outside backer position, whoever is covering Kyle Pitts, whichever coverage they're on, they're gonna lock them down. But we'll see. It's a possible chance, but I got Bama.
Right.
Yeah, Bama.
So who should Jalen Hurts start over Carson Wentz moving forward for the rest of the season?
Duh.
I mean, I don't know because honestly, it really would have made a difference. It's not like Carson Wentz is. He's still versatile. He's still mobile. I can say he's kind of like Jalen Hurts, but I mean Carson just bad. So, but I don't see like Jalen Hurts you know, he when they put him in the game, he really runs. The only pass he threw was the one in his last game against Seattle. But
Right.
I really don't see him, you know, improving the team if that makes sense. I mean, so I really don't know. I mean, I think Eagles should give him a chance, but I don't really see the
I
much of a
mean,
difference.
here's my thing. If you starting out the year with Carson Wentz, you should end the year with Carson Wentz.
Right.
I would
Okay.
say develop him into the next season, and if he can it could be the same situation with Tua. If he's showing you something in practice, play him. Play him.
Yep.
I would say finish the year out with Carson Wentz. So the next topic we got for the quick pitch is who will win the NFC East, the New York Giants or the Washington Football Team? Joe, if you want to start, you can start since that's your team.
All right, yeah, and I'm gonna say my team, the New York Football Giants, will win the NFC East. For right now, we have the better O line. Washington O line is still a little crafty, but Alex Smith is back to his old self. Their defense is pretty good, and so is ours. But looking around, I mean, we're just an overall better team. So I will have to say my New York Football Giants.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. The Giants' offensive line has been thriving ever since Mike Colombo has been fired. The Giants' offense is there. The defense is there. I mean, like, they're becoming the team. They're actually becoming more mentally sound. Daniel Jones is, like, actually becoming a little more dual threat now because he's using – I've been seeing him using his legs in the past few games also. But Washington can get there, but, like, I don't think they can touch the Giants for what they've been on lately.
And just to piggyback off of that, I do pick the Giants to win the NFC East. The fact that Daniel Jones, everyone has been talking down on him with his performance, throwing the ball, and just delivering. He's doing that in the past 3 games. And with people were saying, oh, give him 2 years, give him 1 year. He's doing it right now. So that's momentum coming into the next season if they do make the playoffs. And the craziest thing, they're doing it without Saquon Barkley, who is the bread and butter of the New York Giants. So imagine what they're going to do with him and the picks coming in. I would say improve the defense and improve the O-line, have some reserves that can improve the O-line, that can make that O-line strong to protect Daniel Jones. So we're going to move on to the next subject. So what grade would you give Luke Doty's performance as Carolina's starting quarterback for right now?
Luke Doty. What are you talking about? Like letter grades or something?
Like a letter grade. Like based on his performance in the past game, in the games that he has played, what would you give him?
I'll give him. Man, I gotta give him a B or a C or a B or something along those boards, man. I'm gonna give him a B because, like, I mean, Luke Doty is a great quarterback. I mean, the offense fits him perfectly at Carolina, man. I mean, and hopefully he'll be straight. He'll be like a great quarterback next year, coming in with Marshawn Lloyd also as the third back with Kevin Harris and Sean Fenwick. I mean, like, him throwing the ball is accurate. He's throwing fastballs here and there. He's definitely doing better than what Colin Hill did in the first 6 games of the season, honestly. And, like, a dual threat quarterback is honestly getting more relevant as the day goes by. Because, like, I mean, I'd rather would have a dual threat than an actual pocket passer because, like, I can actually – it's like you can be more mobile and, like, get upfield and you can move the offense and the tempo can be increased even more with the offense. But Luke Doty, I give him a B. The only thing he is him seeing those underneath routes that Pickett threw against Missouri. He just got a little late on that throw. And that other pick against Georgia, like, he tried to get a little outside on that route, but he didn't see the safety coming in. But honestly, he has not done a bad job at quarterback.
Okay. Joe?
I'll have to give him – I won't really give him a B, but I'm going to give him a high C or C+. Last game against Georgia, I think he did individually. He did pretty solid. I think he was 18 of 22 with 190 of passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. I think he only had he had 2 fumbles, if I'm not mistaken. But like Zay said, I do believe he should be the quarterback of the future for USC. Just like with the right coaching and the right, play calling, I believe he can be pretty good. And if he, keeps doing what he's doing and just improve a little more, USC can potentially be a top 25 college football team in the league again.
Right. So me personally, I will have to give him a C plus too.
Yeah.
He is a sophomore. He's young. He's learning, and it was
Freshman.
like when 2 of your options don't produce, you gotta go with your third option. It's like he got thrown into the fire a little bit, but he's handling it. I believe that South Carolina is built for a dual threat quarterback. I think with South Carolina's system, it's not designed for a pocket passer unless you're very good at reading the defense and just picking the defense apart. If they're in a zone or they're in a man, doesn't really matter. But it's different when you can make plays on your feet because that's an extra gear of the offense that people don't know. People have to prepare for it. I'm stepping away from Luke Doty a little bit, but I believe that it's the defense that needs to be fixed because especially the secondary. The secondary has been a problem for Carolina for years, for many years. It's the secondary. But Luke Doty, I like what I'm seeing because he reminds me of a Connor Shaw, but like not at that caliber. He can get there, but he just reminds me of a Connor Shaw type player. This is the last question. Will the Steelers win the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
No.
No.
That's a confident no since Xavier is a diehard Ravens fan. What do you say, Joe?
Hey,
I'll start off because all right, if you look at the Steelers schedule this year, they really haven't played good teams. I mean, they played us, and we still gave them a run for their money, and we won. They played Eagles, Cowboys. They got to play Washington in their next game, so that's an easy dub again. And I think the only teams that really gave them the test was the Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. But all in all, that's why they're undefeated because they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. But when they go in the AFC title game, they'll still have to face Kansas City, which I think will possibly go back to the Super Bowl. And tough teams like Tennessee, they can get them a run for their money again. Right. So I don't see them going to the Super Bowl.
I have to agree. They will have a legitimate shot of making it, but I don't think it's going to happen. You got to get through possibly 3 teams. The Colts, the Titans, and the Chiefs. I say the Colts because if the Colts win out and get that first place, they will have to play this Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. I wouldn't mind that. I'm a diehard Colts fan. I wouldn't mind that. But I'd rather them play Tennessee because that's more of an entertaining game. The Colts is an entertaining game too. But I would want to see how would they stop the run game for a second time if they can though. It will have to go to the Chiefs. It will have to go to the Chiefs. If they play the Chiefs, we will really see if Big Ben still has it. That would be the game to tell us if Big Ben still has some in the tank when it comes to getting down in the late bitter part of the season. The AFC Championship's on the game, on the championship game's on the line, and you're trying to get to the Super Bowl. You got to get through them. Because the way that the Chiefs is playing right now is unstoppable football. You cannot stop that. There's no way you can stop that.
But with the Steelers, I'm gonna think about this in a statistical perspective. If the Steelers go undefeated in the regular season, chances are of them making the Super Bowl are like rare, like no less, like less than 10% of making the Super Bowl. On an undefeated regular season. And like y'all said, Tennessee, Kansas City. Emphasis on Kansas City. Kansas City has the offense. They have every receiver on that offense. that are faster than lightning. Like, and they got Le'Veon, and they got Le'Veon. They got the offensive line that can probably lock up that deep defensive front. Like, I mean, it's going to be. I just don't think the Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that because I'm a Ravens fan. I'm just saying that because, like, chances are them going undefeated and going to a Super Bowl and have like a whole 19-0, 20-0 season.
Right.
And the chances are very, very slim.
Right. I personally believe that they will lose a game this season before the playoffs. Hopefully it's with the Colts because, believe it or not, the Colts is a good team. We just have to get in a place to where we can finish out the game when we need to finish out the game and not turn the ball over when we don't need to turn the ball over. Because granted, we was in the game against Tennessee. It was 14-14. They were just running the ball through us like it was nothing. Tennessee, if you could stop Tennessee's run game, you're going to win the game. If you're going to play Tennessee. It's because it's very hard. It's hard taking down Derrick Henry when he's built like a train. 200+ pound running back running at you. I don't know. But for right now, I don't have the Steelers winning the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
But next week